This beat crazy.
And now, a three-time sports editor, former online and managing editor, and host of Talk That Talk, award-winning journalist Terrell Chatterbox Emerson.
Welcome to it. Welcome to it. It is a little after 10 o'clock on a Thursday night, so you guys know what time it is. It is time for Talk That Talk. I am your host, Terrell Chatterbox Emerson, in studio on this beautiful Thursday night with Markel Collins, guys. Kel, what's going on, brother?
I'm feeling lovely. Hey, shout out Tennessee, man. Cam Ward in the building. Hey, man, don't ask me how I'm feeling because I'm going to tell you how I'm feeling, man. Happy to be back in the studio, man. Cam Ward, number one pick, man. Tennessee, man, let's get right. Let's get right. We didn't got Tyler Lockett. We got the old man on the team. Calvin Ridley, let's get to it, man. Let's get active. How you doing, Terrell? It's been a minute.
I should have thought that through better. I didn't think that through at all. Can you wait 15 minutes? Can you?
Nah.
I'm starting with some playoff hockey first, if you can chill out for a second. Only if you can chill. Just let me know if you can or not. I can't wait to get to this draft talk. I got 30 minutes slated for the draft, but I have the show drawn up for an hour and 40 minutes. So I figured we would go over a little bit in terms of the draft, but I don't have NBA on the schedule today, which is why I technically drew it up for 20 minutes at the end of the show. We could probably throw it in at the end, but I did that because I felt like maybe the NFL draft, we're going to get a little carried away. And then that might take from the end of the show. But we'll see how everything goes. But nevertheless, guys, it is season 7. This episode 26 of season 7. Episode 352 overall. Again, this is your Thursday episode of the Talk That Talk radio show. This show is being shot from the beautiful studio here at the Harry Reid Research and Technology Park here on Sunset, here in Las Vegas, Nevada. It's a late night episode. I told Markel, I gave him a heads up. I told him that the show is probably going to be everywhere. It is what it is. If you guys were a part of our show on Monday, shout out to Russo, shout out to Justin Russo. I'm still in the goofy mood. So by the way that this kind of started, I'm assuming he's in a goofy mood. So yeah, man, we'll see what happens. Again, guys, I'm taking a look around at the studio, looking at these cameras. If you guys would like to be a part of our live episodes on Mondays and on Thursdays, rather, you guys can see us on Mondays 3 to 5, and then on Thursdays, like you are tonight, from 10 to midnight. You guys can do so by going to YouTube, going to the search bar, typing in Talk That Talk Radio Show. Once again, go to YouTube, go to the search bar, type in Talk That Talk Radio Show. My dad's texting me. We'll see if he gets me a tip in or not. We have a lot to discuss today. As I mentioned before, we got hockey on the ledger. We have NFL on the ledger. We have UNLV sports to talk about. Of course, we got basketball news to talk about. But yeah, man, we'll definitely get to it. In case you guys want to follow us on any of our other socials, exactly what I told you guys for YouTube is pretty much the same across every platform. You guys can go to Facebook, Instagram, Apple Podcasts, Spotify. It's all under Talk That Talk Radio Show. The one thing that is different is our Twitter. Our Twitter is at Talk That Talk LV. Once again, our Twitter is at Talk That Talk LV. Yeah, man, let's just get to it. Let's just hop right into it. Okay, so I was trying to figure out if I was going to overreact or not. And I think I am. The Knights lost a second straight game today. I want to hit the panic button. I don't know if I should.
I think you should. For simply one reason. First game, 4-2. Okay, at home, Fortress was rocking. But to give up 12 goals in 3 games,
boy,
and give up 10 in the last 2.
boy.
I told you the last few weeks I had concerns with how the team was kind of like sputtering into the playoffs, and now that we're here and just kind of, especially that late goal they gave up in the game, like that's just that's a tough one. So I mean, obviously the game is already out of reach, but yeah, man, yeah, you should definitely be concerned. I mean, like it kind of feels like we got 2 simultaneous playoffs going on right now. We got the NBA too. Like it's kind of like the Clippers and the Nuggets. I feel like the Clippers possibly should be up 3-0 right now. And I'm sure, like, if you're a Minnesota fan,
I'm more than Clipper fans, trust me.
you could probably you'll probably say the same about this whole Vegas series. So yeah, I feel like there's definitely reason for concern right now. So
what's interesting? I remember talking to Becky Hammond last year, and the team kept blowing leads. They kept getting the win, though. And I was talking to Becky, and I was like, I think it was early in the year, and I said, how do you try to correct this trend before it becomes a trait? And she was like, and I forgot what exact answer she gave me, but what I found interesting was that season, more than probably any other recently, football, it happens pretty often, right? But a lot of times you can see, what's gonna ultimately get in the way of a team winning a championship, whether it be blowing leads, whether it be after timeout execution, whether it be timely timeouts, whether it be injury, whatever, right? You can see early on sometimes what it is. Let me ask you a quick question. What do you think is harder just in terms of wiggle room when things aren't going your way? What's harder to make it through and kind of bounce back, quarterback or goalie?
that's a great question. I would say quarterback because
That's a damn shame.
because you can kind of like put a game behind you. I mean, like, and every team is different. Goalie, I feel like your job is so consistent and so repetitive. I feel, like more so. Obviously, there's like different intricate things you got to pay attention to being a goalie, but like quarterback, like people across sports agree, like that's the hardest position to play in sports. Period. Like
I have an argument about cornerback too, but we'll talk later.
Reasonable, but yeah, like just being a quarterback, I mean, like, yeah, it's a lot that goes into that. So, like, bouncing back from a bad game, like, all right, let's say you throw 3 picks, 1 touchdown, 1 game. You can come back and throw 5 touchdowns, no picks next game, and run for 1. Like that is how sporadic the quarterback position can be. Being a goalie, on the other hand,
Yeah.
I feel like it's kind of like a snowball. Like when that net open up, it's like it doesn't stop. So it's kind of hard to pull yourself out of that. And I feel like it's especially hard for goalies, especially during the playoffs. I think it's
interesting.
I think it's harder for them to kind of like pull themselves out of that slump they're in. So, I mean, yes.
First of all, I didn't expect that you would say that. But what I will tell you, my answer was goalie too. Here's the reason why my answer was goalie originally. My answer was goalie because your backup is playing every 4th game or so. So the team has seen what that backup looks like, right? In game situations, more than a handful on top of that. However, let's just say your backup does go out there and every 4 or 5 games has a great game. Let's say that every 4 games that they play, they have a bad one. So you're probably going through a 2-month, 3-month span where the guy behind you has only had 4 or 5 different instances where he's had bad games. How many have you had on the opposite side, right? I say all of that to say What was the first thing I said when Aiden Hill got that extension? Do you remember? Good. Then that means he doesn't have to think about anything else aside from his performance on the ice. I've said it time and time again. I don't want Aiden Hill thinking. I used to tell my middle schoolers, we think during practice. Games come around, it should be muscle memory. It should be repetition. We've been here before. We've put ourselves in difficult positions before. The game should be the fun part. Aiden's one bad game trickles into the next. It tends to do that. When Justin Russo was here on Monday, he was talking about Akira Schmid being a backup. Akira Schmid not having Aiden Hill back him up, I believe, the last regular season game. Or maybe it was game 1. Got to figure it out now. I got to double back and see what he said on the radio show. But he talked about that particular decision by Bruce Cassidy and company. And he talked about whether Aiden was going to kind of wear that a little bit, right? I'm not going to lie. In the middle of watching game 2, maybe 20-something minutes in, I'm like, yeah, Aiden's going to get pulled. And then tonight happens. And Aiden gets pulled. I wouldn't be surprised if we don't see Aiden anymore this series.
I wouldn't be surprised either. I mean, I've been somebody who's come on this radio show repeatedly and like vouch for Aiden because of the great performances he has had and we've seen from him in the past. But like I said, I feel like that's just the thing with goalies. Like in the playoffs, like it gets spooky very, very, very fast if you let it happen that way. And I feel like we've seen in the past with Marc-Andre Fleury, granted he's a Hall of Famer, but like even for him at times, like when that net opened up, it like the goals just wouldn't stop coming. So I think we possibly might not see him the rest of this series, but
but then what does that do for his mental going into the next series if you do get past this one? That's the problem.
Yeah. I mean, that's just hockey. I feel like this series could end up turning around. Like it's a 7-game series, and like I feel like outside of baseball, hockey is the most unpredictable thing when it comes to the playoffs. So, I mean,
I'm not mad at that.
We just gotta hang around and see what happens in the next few games. So,
it's not like you have a choice anyway. Back-to-back 5-2 losses for Vegas. We know that the game slows down in general during the postseason time in most sports. This one is no different. However, while Vegas is down 2-1 in their series with Minnesota on the opposite side, I just want to give you a couple of numbers. Nothing crazy. I promise. This is not to stir up anything, but I just want to give you some numbers really quick. The Washington Capitals are up on the Montreal Canadiens 2-0 in that series. Do you want to know why I'm telling you that?
Why?
Because Logan Thompson is 2-0 this postseason. Aiden Hill is 0-2. Do with that information what you will.
I ain't got no comment on that one.
I'm sure Vegas doesn't either. Again, like I said before, I'm not saying that clearly Aiden helped bring a championship here. Sometimes it's good to have 2 starting caliber goalies. Vegas, without a doubt, would be very disappointed. I would even say shocked if they were to be eliminated in this first round by Minnesota. Back-to-back seasons, if that were to happen, in terms of shocking playoff exits. I'm not sure what that would do to this franchise right now. I don't believe that it'll panic and make a bunch of moves. However, we have seen Vegas be very aggressive. So, like you said before, I'm kind of with you and feeling like this is going to turn around for Vegas. They're down 2-1 right now to Minnesota. Game 4 is in Minnesota on Saturday. If they get that game, Vegas might be in a good spot. Obviously, we'll have to wait till Saturday to figure it out. But we just have to wait till tonight to figure out what the first round of the NFL draft looked like. Of course, we're here in Vegas, so it's only right that we mention the hometown team. The Raiders made their pick at selection 6, and the pick is in. They picked Boise State running back Ashton Jeanty. I tweeted out that Ashton Jeanty will be returning to Allegiant Stadium. This time, he'll be returning as a Raider. I'm not going to lie. I've said it before. I think it's hard to not get excited about somebody like Ashton Jeanty. I do have another back end of it. Obviously, if you guys listen to the show, you guys kind of know where I'm going. But obviously, there's some high praise going around here in Vegas right now for getting the best running back in the draft, at least based on college statistics and college tape. And now, Ashton Jeanty is in the silver and black.
I feel like that's a very good pick for the city. I feel like he definitely fits the Raiders. Honestly, like when I first seen the pick, I was excited, but then my analysis brain kicked in, and I was like, I thought about it from the Raiders standpoint. I was like, all right, so you guys gave up Josh Jacobs. Well, granted, Josh Jacobs wanted to leave, but it's like I feel like you just kind of like.
I'm sorry. Do you remember where you landed again? Never mind. Don't worry. We'll talk about it later. I just never mind.
We're gonna get to them. No worry. We're gonna get to y'all.
I just asked the question.
Don't even worry about it. But yeah, like he just like it felt like you just kind of like replaced the piece to put another piece that was already there back in place. Like it just but like I said, I'm excited. Obviously I feel like
Giants probably should have did
it. They definitely should have.
The Giants I actually like what the Giants did tonight, kind of. So we'll talk about that in a second too.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Hey man.
Get well soon. Boy. Yeah, like I just think Ashton Jeanty is definitely gonna like help the organization. I feel like one thing he does bring like that. I don't think Josh Jacobs brought at a high level is catching the ball out the backfield, and I feel like Ashton Jeanty is a little more elusive. So I feel like he could bring like a different type of element to the offense. But outside of that, I'm not mad at the pick. That's a good start to the draft for him.
I'm not entirely sold on that pass catching point that you made. I kind of want to send you a highlight tape of Josh Jacobs just catching balls out of the backfield at Alabama. I kind of want to show you now a little bit. But I'm with you just from the standpoint of Boise State. When you're at Alabama, if we're just going to compare Josh Jacobs to Ashton Jeanty for a second, you have a lot of other backs that you have to share that backfield with at Bama, right? Not necessarily the same thing in Boise. And you have an offense that's kind of catered around this running back that is probably just as tall as as our quarterback, right? So, as far as Ashton Jeanty, really quick, you know what? You got your phone. I'm gonna throw out some names to you in a second. I just need you to Google it. Type in height in Google really quick. And what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna give you some names, and I need you to add their names into that Google search, and we just gonna keep going back and forth. All right. As we discuss him. So first name I need you to do really quick. Can you do Tiki Barber? Pardon. So keep in mind, while Markel is looking these names up and looking these heights up, I'm going to be making my points. He's going to be making his points. But we're just going to be going through and looking at these different running back heights really quick, right?
5'10".
5'10". Thank you. So be ready. I'm going to give you some different names. You can type in, you know what? Type in LT. So yeah. Let's talk Ashton Jeanty really quick. Ashton Jeanty, somebody that I've seen a lot of recently. The Raiders picked somebody who can come in and contribute right away. That's the big part of this draft pick, right? He gives you the notion and the feeling that he's going to come in and he's going to be able to produce right away. one of the things that I've always said about Ashton, I just had questions about, and this is why we're going through looking at running back heights. You got that height? If not, you can go through to give me Austin Eckler. I'm naming all of these running backs because I would like to know how many running backs are 5'8" and under. I'm not saying that it can't be done.
5'9".
LT is 5'9"?
That's
Austin Eckler, which is what I figured. Around there. So I just want to know how many running backs are over the height of 5'8", or under the height of 5'8", rather. I've never been in a room with I lied. I definitely lied. I've been in one room with Ashton Jeanty, and he had his pads on, so it's kind of hard to get a full idea of the running back size. However, understanding what, I don't know, guys like Max Crosby look like up close, walking by guys like Ndamukong Suh, it's not even a health thing with Ashton. Because you never want to wish bad on somebody in terms of their health or injuries or anything of that nature, right? My only question was, how many contracts does Ashton Jeanty get? On Monday, we were talking about guys' careers ending earlier for whatever reason. Market dries up. We know how it is in football, right?
LT's 5'10", by the way.
5'10". See, I'm trying to go somewhere with it. Go to Ronnie Brown for me. Shout out to Ronnie Brown, who used to run old school style, just tape on the fingers. I would love to know how tall Warrick Dunn was too, now that I'm thinking about it. But I say all of that to say it's not impossible for Ashton Jeanty to do it. My only question was, does he get to contract 2? Does he get to contract 3?
6 foot.
Who was?
Ronnie Brown. Crazy. 230.
I didn't know he was that damn tall. All right, that's a little different. But Ashton Jeanty, I believe, is 5'8", 211, I want to say. Is 211 right? That don't even sound right. But I believe that's what I saw in the broadcast today. My only question is, how does his career shape up? I believe Ashton Jeanty will look like possibly the best player from this draft for the next 2 years. Once teams start to get tape on him, once teams start to get a feed on him, what does the rest of his career look like?
That's a great question. He 5'9", 216. So
yeah, I just don't know. He runs like he's 230, so it might not matter in terms of the weight. But by the way, they asked him after initially being drafted. Somebody asked him just a bunch of rapid fire questions, right? They asked him what he wanted his nickname to be. Did you hear that?
Nah, I missed it.
He said his nickname is going to be the Silver Surfer. Way to go, young man. That's the way you walk in and you make a name for yourself.
That's good marketing.
That's hard.
Off tops.
If you don't get a shirt made tonight, you're tripping.
You gotta trademark that ASAP.
Immediately.
Yeah.
Mark might do it for him.
He already on it. He already got people in motion.
Yeah. I have my copyright guy get that for you.
What? Yeah, no, it's already done.
Yeah, don't worry about it.
Yeah, so
shirts are in your locker.
I mean, I get what you're saying, like, because like the running back position is in such a weird place right now to where it's like definitely devalued, and it's like hard for running backs to get those second, third contracts like they used to. Like that's why like people look at like a Derrick Henry right now, like everybody's like, Jesus Christ, like he's in his early 30s and he's like still killing it right now. Back in the day, that wasn't a thing. We was like, he might still be in his prime right now. Like that's back when the running back position was still like, you know, prominent within the sport. But now it's like, okay, you get to that second contract. But what about that third? A fourth? Oh, you really doing something. You might be a Hall of Famer. You get to a fourth. But yeah, no, it's a tricky situation right now. Like obviously, like somebody spoke on earlier, like the Giants, yeah, you guys should resign Saquon, and you just have to go watch him win the Super Bowl and be like second, third in MVP voting. But you know, somehow that GM still has a job. But you know, I'm not gonna get into all that.
This might be his last draft, so we don't know.
Yeah, so
And that's what might suck, right? Because if you want to talk about just different picks really quick, obviously the Raiders had the 6th pick. We'll be discussing a lot of the Raiders picks over the next couple of days, obviously, or depending on what happens over the next couple of days. Let's just start at the top of the draft. Let's start at the top of the class, rather. Cam Ward to Tennessee. You talked about it. You said when you guys got the number 1 overall pick that you felt like you guys were gonna somehow muddy the waters and mess this up. You had Shedeur. At least when we first talked about this, you had Shedeur, you had Cam, and you had Travis Hunter. You felt like you guys were gonna have the luck to have the pick out of those 3, and probably pick who would have the least successful and or least productive career out of the 3. You end up getting Cam Ward. Do you still feel that way?
You know, I want to blame you too, because
I didn't even say it,
because you kind of spooked me when you were like, mind you, you know, like I always say, it's like, who needs friends when you got people? Who needs enemies when you got friends like Terrell? Okay, you know, he just texts me, y'all gonna trade the pick, y'all gonna get
that's hilarious.
Oh, he gonna get
traded back to 4 just cause.
But yeah, nah. I mean,
I
I'm
would have paid anything to see that.
I would just turn my phone off. I'm not gonna lie.
I'm sure
there wouldn't have been no show.
I was about to say I would have been doing the show dolo. It would have been bad.
Yeah, no. I think like, yeah, I'm not mad with the pick. I think Cam like definitely had a great season. He's somebody like I will watch, like, just because I'm college football nut. Like, I would watch him at Washington State, and I'd be like, who is this?
That's some bad football. Never mind. I'm sorry. My bad.
No,
I shouldn't have said that.
Absolutely. Like, it wasn't good football to watch whatsoever. But like, I try to find gems, like, because when I was a kid, I was watching Damian Lillard at Weber State. Like, why was I watching Paul George at Fresno State? Like, that was.
I did the same thing. I was watching Kawhi at San Diego State. It was like the Pacers got who?
Like, man, like, so I mean, like, just seeing Cam, like, develop each year, like, he's literally gotten better each and every year. And like, even with Miami last year, like, even when it seems like the team just wasn't like producing at the level they should produce, like at a college football playoff type level, you would still see that Cam was the determining factor. If they were down 20, 28 points, you still felt like they were in the game, and Cam brought them back a lot of times, and like, he just stayed composed no matter what was going on. Like, he showed his leadership. Like, obviously, like I said before, like, I criticized him about the whole, bowl game situation. Like, that was.
I hope one day we get that story. We gotta figure out what happened that day.
Absolutely, like that could be. Like I said, it was just a bad look, but but all in all, like, the talent is there. I'm happy with the pick. Yeah, I just want to see how he grows and develops. With somebody like that, like, it's promising, because like, you see him develop like consistently. You see him getting better, but people are talking about like how he has a high upside, but like, with somebody who's developed like that for years now, it kind of makes you question how much further is that ceiling. So, it's like, it's kind of, I seen people like comparing him, like, Patrick Mahomes, like, he's kind of like a gambler, risk taker, but like, when he's like focused,
I just feel like saying Pat is so dangerous. There's other gambling risk taker. Ryan Fitzpatrick is a gambling risk taker, and I don't think people are wanting to be compared to Ryan Fitzpatrick, somebody who played 15 years in the league, right? So, I mean, at least he doesn't have to worry about like national exposure anymore. He's in Tennessee, so he can chill a little bit. But I came out before. Yeah, like I said, man, you guys know how high I am on Cam, and it's not like I'm low on Shedeur, right? But Cam Ward, and I've always said it, Cam Ward, and people are going to think that I'm nuts for saying this. To look at anybody else after Shedeur and say, man, that confidence jumps off the paper. I see that with Cam Ward. Respectfully speaking, Shedeur Sanders is more boastful. Mm-hmm. I think that Cam Ward is not lacking in the confidence department in terms of Shedeur, or in regards to Shedeur. For comparative purposes, I think Tennessee got a dub. I think if the Raiders were higher in the draft and they were considering a Shedeur or Cam decision, I said this before. If I'm the Raiders and I was in that seat, I'd pick Cam. I think Cam gave me Raider. Cam gives you one of those, don't care what the division has looked like over the last 10 years, 12 years, 15 years. You guys didn't have me. And I think any team that gets a guy like that who's going to have the football in his hands that much is in a good spot.
Yeah, Cam is definitely more stoic, but like he doesn't like that confidence whatsoever. I mean, at times, like at Miami this past year, you would see him just like bouncing around in the pocket because he got a clean pocket and he's just sitting there standing. Like at certain points, he'd just stop and be like, somebody get open. And then, all right, let me run out the pocket a little bit.
Can't do that with y'all on.
First down. Ooh, okay. First down the field. I'm going to blow past that.
It's the truth. I'm trying to help him.
We're working on that.
You're right. You got time.
We're getting there. We at least got 4 years with him. Okay. So, all right, man.
You want to know who don't want to hear that? Him.
I've seen my Titans. I've seen us ruin some quarterbacks. Like
only if you guys can get a running back now.
You know, yeah. You know, Tony Pollard. He was Tyler Spears. You know, but yeah, but I just you know, Calvin Ridley. That's a promising piece we got. You know, so you know we got something to work with there. But yeah, last time we picked the quarterback this high, outside of Marcus Mariota, I think back to like Vince Young, who was actually producing in the beginning, but I feel like Jeff Fisher just kind of ruined him, and then everybody's seen it. Everybody's seen Jeff Fisher go to St. Louis and just ruin other.
Ruined Sam Bradford. Ruined him.
He did. Yes.
Sam Bradford.
Because Sam Bradford went to the Eagles.
There's somebody else we could attribute to him ruining too. I just can't figure out who it is.
And you know, my brother hates when I say that because, like, you know, Jeff Fisher took us to the Super Bowl, but we didn't win. No, I'm like, bro, I don't care. I don't care. Like, I know what you lived through, but let me tell you what I lived through, bro.
Let me tell you what I saw. Let me tell you when I got here what the party looked like.
Okay, and like Jeff Fisher, look at me. I would never forgive you for benching Vince Young for Kerry Collins. I will never, ever forgive you for that.
Remember, you're in Raider country. You watch what you say about Kerry Collins. You know what I want to do sometimes? I want to go back. I call my dad sometimes randomly, and I'll be like, hey, remember Troy Hambrick? And he'll just laugh and be like, why do you remember that? Just because. Cowboys always make it seem like they never had any down years. Remember Quincy Carter? He'll be like, I'm about to hang up. I just asked the question. I'm just naming people from your past. You ain't got to be mad at me about it. I just asked. You asked me about John Kuhn. I don't get mad. Like, I just asked the question. Number 2 overall pick. Shout out to Jacksonville for doing what it took to make the move. Jacksonville trades up to the second spot and draft cornerback and wide receiver Travis Hunter, 2024 Heisman winner for Colorado. Not gonna lie, you guys know how high I am still on Trevor Lawrence. The fact that Doug Peterson couldn't get it to work scares me a little bit. Not entirely, but scares me a little bit. But the way that you combat that, you surround this guy with talent, right? And you go out, you surround him with somebody like a Travis Hunter, either somebody that's going to help him on defense or somebody that he's going to be able to rely on the offensive end. I went back and obviously I've done a lot of just highlight watching a little bit recently. And my gut tells me that Travis is a corner. When he plays wide out, he gives me backyard football a little bit, a little 7-on-7-ish. Here's the problem with that. The way that the league has gone the last almost 10 years, the backyard playground style wide receiver is the one to go get. Whether it's the Jamar Chases, whether it's the OBJs, whether it's the Justin Jeffersons, whether it's the Malik Neighbors, they do some things sometimes that you be like, oh, that would never work in an NFL game. And then it happens. So a lot of people today were trying to figure out, well, where does Travis go? Does Travis play corner? Does Travis play wide receiver? I do think we see Travis play both in game 1.
Yeah, I think it's really gonna come down to like really how they split, like what percentage they split them on both sides of the ball.
It should be like 80-20, but I think it does happen though.
Yeah. Like in terms of like corner, I think like naturally, I think he's a corner. Like on more naturally, like just those instincts, the way he like breaks on the ball, like just certain things he does on the defensive side of the ball. You're like, yeah, like he's one of the ones on like on the defensive side of the ball. But you just said it, like some of the catches, like I mean, just if you want to point to his Heisman moment, like I feel like it was that catch against North Dakota State. Like I've never
That
seen
front pylon.
I've never seen nobody make a catch like
He wasn't supposed to make that catch. And I'm typically not that guy to say, oh, you weren't supposed to do XYZ because it happened, right? He wasn't supposed to catch that damn football. There's no OBJ's catch. Wasn't supposed to catch that.
Mhm.
Mario Manningham in the Super Bowl wasn't supposed to catch that. Julian Edelman wasn't supposed to catch that. He has those moments, and the sad part is you might get him on both sides of the football.
He does, like he literally does that on both sides of the ball, and like that's why he's such a unique player, because it's like how do you use him? What do you do with him? Like
I think how you fumble Travis is trying to overthink how to use him.
Yeah.
So we talk about Vegas drivers all the time. Not making a decision is making a decision. So keeping your hands tied because, well, maybe this works for him, maybe this doesn't work for him. First practice, hey, we about to see what you can do right away. Game 1. Remember, you know what? It don't happen often, and I hate when people do it. It doesn't happen often. I got 2 instances for you. I hate when we're expecting a certain something. Usually happens in football. When you're expecting a certain something, and because everybody's expecting it, you don't see it for the first quarter. Or you don't see it until after the first game, or whatever the case may be. I got 2 instances for you. Remember that first game for Chip Kelly in Philly?
Mhm.
Most people remember that game, and the first thing that would come to mind was 14 minutes and 57 seconds to go in the first quarter. From the 20, play action, Djax runs the post. We get that legendary toss from Vic to Djax in one play. Djax is playing the O team, or Djax is playing the O team. Vic is playing in his starting his first game since being released from prison. Chip Kelly is with this high-powered offense. Chip said, hey, play 1. We're going for it. I'm going to give you a second instance where it happened. You remember when the Raiders fired Josh McDaniels and AP took over?
Yeah.
One of the things that everybody said was the Raiders don't throw the football. The Raiders ain't getting the football out there. You got Devontae Adams and you're not even using him. First play when he took over. Raiders get the ball. Play action rollout. Deep down the left field sideline. Incomplete as hell. Everybody in the press box was like, at least he willing to throw it. I don't want the hesitation when it comes to Travis. If you drafted him number 2 overall, you traded to go get him at number 2, you let Travis be Travis. Travis is gonna play probably. Let's just say week 1. I want Travis on the slot guy. Cool. You might want him on the outside. I don't know if you want him on Mike Evans to start the year, but whatever. Throw him in the slot. Maybe we'll see what happens there. On the offensive side of the ball, let's say he gets 15 snaps. 4 of those are going to him. 5 of those might go to him. 1 of those might be a streak. I've seen him in practice. This defense doesn't know what to expect. In my humble opinion, if I have somebody like a Trevor Lawrence and I'm bringing a new toy like Travis Hunter, I might send him on a blitz the first play. That's my only point. With Jacksonville making this draft pick, I hope you guys realize that all that means is that now everything should be on the table. If it's not, you weren't the place for him.
He's the first person to play both sides of the ball since his former head coach Deion Sanders. So
Fendi.
I mean, it's gonna be interesting to see, man. Like just like
I almost said 20 years ago because it was in 96. That shit is 30 years ago.
I feel like people's main concern is just like the thing is we're playing with him on both sides of the ball. He can be good on both sides, but he'll never be great if he ends up just playing one position. Because I feel like it takes a different level of focus and attention to be great, especially at the NFL level, because guys are masters at their craft. Like you just said, you don't know if you want him on Mike Evans just for week one right away. Like, especially if he's playing both sides of the ball. Now, granted, say for somebody, I don't know who's a young corner, like a Derek Stingley Jr., who's strictly on cornerback
Baller.
night in, night out. Yeah, go guard Mike.
Yeah,
go out there. With Travis, it's like we know you got the skills, we know you got the talent, the instincts, but can we rely on you night in, night out to go out there and guard Jamar Chase?
I have a question. Do you feel like certain things are instinctual?
Yes.
That said, I cover the Aviators, which we're about to get to in a little bit. We've had middle infielders come through the Aviators organization that had a hell of a glove. Not sure what he can do in terms of the bat, right? Or he could pick it up in that department. When I walk through that clubhouse, when I'm out at those games early, those don't be the guys snagging infield grounders. Those aren't the guys taking line drives at the hot corner. They don't need to. I got that. We'll figure it out. Every day before I get here, I'm taking hacks in this cage. That's the way I feel about Travis on the defensive side of the ball. He's going to be him. He's going to be himself. I'm not saying that he's going to go out there and be Jalen Ramsey and snatch every pick that comes his way. I'm not saying that. Do I believe he can be a disruptor? Yes. Do I believe he could be a productive corner? Yes. Do I believe he can actually triple as a returner? I do. In my humble opinion, I'm trying to see how far we can go on the offensive end, because it seems like the defensive end, as you said before, as I actually said as well, and I think actually Deion said it as well. If you had to do rankings for him right now, or ratings for him right now, let's say we're not even talking about NFL stats, but let's just say he's an 83 and a 91. If you had to guess which one he's a 91 in, it's probably corner. And now 3, the Giants. Everybody said that the Giants were going to determine this draft at 3, right? I said it before. If I was Cleveland, I don't know that I trade back, but if I was Cleveland, I go out and I get Abdul Carter because I'm sticking him right next to Myles Garrett. And we going to figure the rest of this out. I don't even care that you guys say that my quarterback is terrible. Fine. We won scoring 8 points. Like, I don't even care. My defense is going to look like what it looks like. It doesn't happen. Abdul Carter falls to 3. He goes to the New York Giants. I just seen this before the show started. They asked him if he had a number in mind. Did you hear what that young man said? That young man who was just drafted by the New York Giants said he would like the number 56. That was worn by the legendary Lawrence Taylor.
That's how you feeling.
Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do that.
I respect the confidence for sure. But go ahead. I say, yeah, just go ahead.
Take 55. Brother, just don't do it.
Yeah, no.
That's like going to LA asking for 8.
Yeah, no, don't do that.
You want 8 what?
Nope. I just don't put your target. No, don't put that type of target on your back. That's like going there and saying, hey, you know what? Hey, when there was Michael Strahan, yeah, let me get that. Let me get that.
Who's the best player to ever play for y'all franchise? What's his name? Yeah, what was that number? Yeah, give me that one. Fam, what? Now watch him be Reggie White Jr. Like, watch him go out there and be absolutely amazing. I said it before, man. Just in terms of freak of nature, I know that Travis is what he is. Travis is a generational talent. We believe him to be a generational talent. That said, the Aaron Donalds of the world, the Ndamukong Suhs of the world, you guys thought that we were crazy, but the Jalen Carters of the world, I said it, Aaron Donalds of the world, Micah Parsons, Mario Williams, remember Michael Huff?
Yeah.
Michael Huff is the only safety that I named, probably the only secondary player that I named in that little group. But if it was not for Travis Hunter this year, Abdul Carter would be the freak of nature that we're talking about.
Shout out to Michael Huff, hook him. Hey, you brought him up. Yeah, like Abdul Carter, it's crazy because like it's like Penn State pumped out a clone of Michael Parsons, which is kind of scary. So now I'm looking at Penn State every year. I'm like, hey, who they linebacker?
Word, go get him.
Who
I've never heard of Peyton Bartholomew, but run him. Yeah, next year. Yeah, we need eyes on him.
Hey, who wearing 11 at linebacker for Penn State? Who is that? What's his name? Because they ain't got their names on the back of their jersey.
Word.
Who is that? No. Who is that? Why is he getting? Why did he have 3 sacks this game?
Can't imagine standing on the sideline, you pointing, and you see a lineman look me. No, that's you. Move that one. Him. No, move that one right there.
Yeah, man. Like the speed, the athleticism, like just
bro gonna be so good.
It's crazy. Like just the fact that him and Mikey get to play against each other, being in the same division. I mean, granted, Cowboys and Giants games haven't really been like appointment television in the past few years, but
stop putting it on for Thanksgiving.
Please stop. I know there's a lot of Cowboys fans. Please stop. We don't. Just please.
We watched Cooper Rush last year.
Please stop. Jesus Christ. Seeing them like on both sides of the ball defensively going back and forth is gonna be quite amazing. I mean, like I said, that's a win for Penn State. But yeah, Abdul Carter, like just the speed he has as an edge rusher and like just the size, and as physical as he is, he doesn't always have to be. Which makes him extremely dangerous, and it's kind of weird. So like I can't wait to see how he develops it, like as a true linebacker, and like how he like develops in coverage, because everybody's amazed like just how he can rush the passer and like stop the run. But I want to see how he develops in coverage though.
Completely random. I remember Aaron Donald got doubled, I want to say by Cincy, and he grabbed both offensive linemen in one hand, both of them. And when the play was over, he said, y'all gonna have to send one more. I said, leave that man alone. I said, let that man rock, dog.
First ballot.
Not even close.
I don't want nobody to question.
Certain things I'm not having conversations about.
First ballot.
I'm not having conversations. That man retired and said it's not the game. It's the lead up to the season. The 8 weeks you want me out there before the season starts, I don't want to do that no more. I ain't really signing up for that no more. Speaking of signing up, the Giants went out and made some more headlines on the back end of the draft, right? They traded back into the first round. They traded to pick 24, I want to say it was. They traded into pick 24, which was Houston's pick originally. I think it was 24 or 25. And they make the trade with Houston. And Mel Kiper says right away that Adam Schefter says right away that they were told that it's quarterback watch. They were taking a signal caller. I sat there for a little bit. I told you guys, especially being here in Vegas, Jackson Dart was somebody I was paying a lot of attention to as well, right? Because I felt like a day 2 quarterback was coming for Vegas. It still probably is. New York makes that jump, and they take Ole Miss's Jackson Dart over Colorado's Shedeur Sanders to be probably their new leading play caller. I believe Drew Lock is still there, so maybe Drew will get the start to start the year. But it's looking like Jackson Dart will be the backup, and then probably the starter, maybe before halfway through the season, is my humble opinion. I got to be honest with you, man. Anytime a quarterback that I deem is good, goes to the Giants, I get worried.
Yeah, the Giants. Well, they did sign Russell Wilson, so
My bad, Russ.
Yeah.
My bad. That's me, G. My fault, gang.
I think Russell gonna start it off, and then he'll come in. Yeah, Drew Lock is kind of like, I know, but that just goes to show how bad the Giants are.
I feel bad for Russ now. Why do you do that?
He's just trying to get some money at this point. I mean, because like what does he have to prove at this point? I feel like he just loves football too. Like
that's a great great point.
Like Russ is one of those guys. Like he's married to Sierra, he's got kids, he's made all the money he's need to make, won the Super Bowl.
Facts.
Like he has nothing to prove at this point. But yeah, like that. It's just crazy because everybody would assume that when they traded up, it was going to be Shedeur. Because that was the conversation going to the draft. Like, all right, if they're gonna take him at 3, all right, then we gonna be on watch. And then kept going. And number 9, okay, the Saints don't take him. Okay, slide down the draft. The Steelers don't take him. Okay, Giants came up. Okay, all right, Shedeur's getting picked right here. Nope, Jackson Dart. And I'm not mad about it because.
So don't be mad. Wait, now I was waiting for you to keep going for the rest of the first round, but the pick after that. Maybe 3 picks before that pick, maybe pick 2021. I'm sitting there and I was looking at the draft board. I said I knew y'all was going to do it. Everybody is doing this overthinking, and y'all going to let him fall to the right situation. I was nervous at Pittsburgh. I was like, damn, this is where it happens, huh? And it didn't happen. So around that pick, I'm looking and I'm like, well, who's coming up? I said, are y'all about to give Sean McVay Shedeur Sanders? And then when the Rams, I think it was pick 25, because when the Rams were next to be on the clock, when the Giants traded up right before him, I said, this is where you steal Shedeur, right? Shedeur didn't go at all in this first round. Not gonna lie. I tweeted out when Mel Kiper came out with his third mock draft. I damn near wanted to denounce it. I said there's no way in hell Shedeur falls to 21. And if he does, that's y'all fault. Y'all let that man fall out the first round.
A team about to get a steal now. Like obviously he's gone tomorrow. Like he's gone tomorrow. He's not making it to the third round. If he does, oh my goodness.
You can't let another quarterback get said before him.
Yeah, no. Like, yeah, I expected him to go early in the second round. But it's just, yeah, back to Jackson Dart. Like I'm not mad at that whatsoever. Jackson Dart, he's a guy I've been watching since he was in high school. Like he's just one of those kids. Like you just seen like right away. Like even in high school, you're like he's throwing the ball a little different. Like he's kind of like throwing the ball in the bucket. And he performed at Ole Miss. You know, the team didn't reach the heights they wanted to reach, but he performed each and every year. He got better. He lived up to all the hype and expectations he had coming out of high school, and he kind of lived up to those standards. So I feel like Lane Kiffin was a great coach for him to develop under. And now, like you said, but going to New York, man, like it's just, I feel like that's just one of those places where quarterbacks don't always thrive. You know,
how many different quarterbacks has Brian Daboll had?
Daniels.
So you had Daniel Jones, you had Tommy DeVito, you had Drew Lock, you're getting Russell Wilson now. You might play Jackson Dart at some point. That's 5 in the last 2 seasons. We talk about a smoke signal and the writing being on the wall. Does Brian Daboll lose his job before the season is over? Because regardless of the way it ends up, unless they make the playoffs, it's looking like John Mara is going to lose his at the end of it. Or is the GM John Mara? I got to figure this out now. Because isn't it owned by the Mara family? See, That's now I got to figure this out.
This is the same man that let Saquon test the market
and didn't draft Jaden Daniels.
Bro, look, I'm gonna be so real, like, bro. I honestly, you know, every now and then, like, you'll see on your feed, like, that conversation he
John
had.
Mayer's the president. Oh, I got to figure out who this GM is. I got to figure this out.
Yeah, I'll be forgetting his name, but like, every now and then I see that video circuit when he's on the phone with Saquon. And he's like, "Hey, yeah, we're just gonna let you test the market," and like Saquon just kind of quiet. He just kind of like responded like, "Okay, yeah, all right." He just real short with him. And then he goes to your division rival and wins the Super Bowl.
And we were talking about Joe Schoen, by the way, the GM for the Giants.
Quite frankly, I'm not Jackson Dart. I'm not rooting against you. I want you to have an illustrious NFL career. I'm rooting against the Giants. I don't want to see y'all be successful. I'm gonna keep it so hot, especially like just the moves they've made in the past few years that have been just like so mind-boggling. Like having these like poor Malik Neighbors. Like I feel like he's like, yo, I thought we was like definitely about to draft Shedeur. I remember pre-draft Shedeurs in New York. You know, they kept, you know, the Giants were in contact with Shedeur a lot, and then they just kind of go the opposite direction. And it was just like, okay, what are we doing here? So, but yeah, whoever gets Shedeur, like you said, I didn't even think about that. If Sean McVay gets Shedeur Sanders, and then he get to learn from Matt Stafford.
That's what I was thinking about. He don't even got to play this year if he went to LA.
Yo.
By the way, the Giants couldn't have drafted Jaden Daniels, but we did hear around that time that obviously a lot of things could have been lies, but we were hearing, I don't want to say we, it was said, it was reported previously that maybe Dable wasn't super high on Jaden. Not sure about how high Joe Schoen was on him originally, but obviously you wasn't too high on him because you didn't draft him. So, or obviously you wasn't too high on him because it doesn't appear that you guys did too much to go up and get him. Malik Neighbors, nobody's going to say that that's a bad decision for them, right? But I do think a lot of people had questions about Dable's philosophy going into making some of these decisions. I've just said it before. I feel weird even being in his seat and saying like, hey, a guy should lose his job, right? The Brian Dable situation in New York is really interesting, is where I'll leave it at. More rounds, round 2 officially tomorrow. This is pretty much going through to the rest of the weekend. But before we leave football talk as a whole, let's talk about some other standouts from the first round. Anything else that kind of gets your attention?
Let's talk about your Packers. Y'all got the Texas Longhorns. Yeah, throw it up. Yeah, there we go. Yeah,
I got family in Texas, so I ain't got no problem with it.
Matthew Golden, man.
I think if I really did horns down around my family in Texas, they would be. The hell are you talking to?
Yeah, Matthew Golden. I think that's a good fit. Like him playing.
I went crazy at the house. I'm pretty sure Spade was like.
I was at work.
It was bad.
I was at work spazzing. I was just happy because I feel like that's a great fit for him. Him and Jordan Love. I feel like that's going to definitely mesh well. Him playing in that cold, that's something he got to adjust to. You know, sure. Him being from Houston and playing in Houston, going to humid Austin, Texas, and now it's like, yep, buckle up, buddy. I hope you like a -2 because
it was like -16.
Yeah, so but I feel like that's gonna be a great fit for him. I feel like the Packers are kind of like in a position to where you guys make playoffs.
Yeah. It didn't feel like
it. Yeah, but like y'all's a playoff team though. Like y'all got, you know what I'm saying, y'all got Josh Jacobs back there as well too. You know what I'm saying? Y'all defense is always solid. So I think that's a great fit for him. I just want to see like how he kind of adjusts to playing in the cold, and you know, but Matthew Golden's one of those dudes where you can put him pretty much anywhere on the field. So
I like Tataroa McMillan to Carolina. I like it. I like it for the simple fact of Xavier Legette. Obviously, that helps, right? But now you get another young receiver who's going to come in. And obviously, I don't know if I was the only person. I doubt I was the only person. But the first thing that went through my mind was Bryce Young. But I think a different portion of why Bryce Young popped in my mind differs from a lot of other people, in my opinion. I feel like the reason why Bryce popped into my mind right away was he has guys that's going to lift him up. He has guys that are his age that are there to lift him up. Last year, we talked about it before. Nobody expected Carolina to be good. Respectfully speaking, because nobody expected Carolina to be good, it's kind of interesting that you're starting your number 1 overall pick right away, especially if you feel like you got a vet around, right? And then Andy comes in and starts his first game of the year against the Raiders, a game that I was in attendance for, a game that I talked to Luke Kuechly about specifically at halftime. And he talked about what the franchise wanted from Andy coming in. To just be a vet. Do your throw to your check down when you need to. Go through your progressions. Don't do too much. And we'll let the chips fall where they may. And then Bryce comes in after Andy Dalton begins to struggle a little bit. And what do you know? Bryce looks like a number 1 overall pick. One of the questions that I had last year was, aside from his quarterback room, how many different vets went to Bryce when he was benched? I don't have an answer. I'm not saying that they didn't do it. They could have done it. I would like to know how many vets went and did it. When I saw this pick, understanding the stories that I've heard about him, I said, I don't know that you could have a better young guy to throw the football to. I don't know that you could have a better young guy to have as a human in that locker room. This might have helped Bryce out in more ways than one.
Most definitely. He was killing in Arizona. So, I mean, that was... Yeah, some people thought he's the best wide receiver in the draft, too. So, I mean...
I was that guy.
Yeah, so, I mean...
I think Booger McFarland today said that Travis Hunter was probably the best receiver as well. And I was like... You can't get all the accolades, Travis. You're probably a generational talent. You're the most athletic in the draft. You're not the best receiver in this draft. You're not.
No.
Is he top 3?
Top 3. But, yeah, because I don't even think he better.
Is he top 3?
Because I don't think he's better than Matthew Golden. That's not even me being biased. Because I thought that when he was at Houston, I'm like, everybody sleep on him. Because I've seen him torch Texas.
Yeah, facts.
The year before.
Fendi.
So I was like, yo, who was 2 at Houston? I don't like this. But
I kind of want to see them stats from that game now.
He was getting busy. But yeah, it was just like yeah, with Bryce Young, man, he's kind of, he was put in such a weird situation. Like the Panthers organization, it's just a lot going on with ownership and everything else that goes along with that. But Bryce Young kind of had to feel his way out and kind of figure out where he stood. Obviously at a certain point in time, everybody seen his confidence was shot, especially after his rookie year. And then to get benched so early at the start of your second year, to get benched for Andy Dalton at this age, that was mind-boggling to me, because I was just like,
should have just started the year with him.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. What's the point of that? Because what are you trying to get from Andy Dalton at this point in his career? What was the end goal with that? Granted, in the long term, it worked out. I don't think nobody in the Panthers organization envisioned that. Oh yeah, we're gonna bench Bryce, put Andy in, and then Bryce will get his head right and then put him back. Nobody predicted that would happen.
People were talking about a change of scenery for Bryce after that benching happened.
Absolutely, everybody gave up on him. Me, I was one of those people. I was like, Bryce is not the problem; it's the organization.
I said, get him out of there.
I did too, because
the change of scenery is good. It's better for him.
Because I didn't want him there no more. I'm like, you don't go from winning the Heisman Trophy to having a rough rookie year to just being complete garbage.
You can't convince me that he just doesn't, that he forgot how to play football. Again, a lot to get to over the next couple of days in terms of this NFL draft. I think we're going to hear some names called in the next 2 rounds that will make us, especially if you watch college football, you'll be like, damn, I forgot that this person was going. We're going to hear Cam Scatterbo, right? We're going to hear Dylan Gabriel. We're going to hear Shador Sanders. We're going to hear a lot of these different players. We're going to hear Will Johnson, by the way.
Crazy, he slipped out the first round. Crazy.
It doesn't shock me, but I'm not going to lie to you. A small little part of my heart, when the Packers came up, I was like, go do it. I was like, go do it. And then as soon as they was like started to talk around and things like that, I'm going through the best available. I seen Matthew's name and was like, oh, never mind. Scratch it. I was like, I don't think you guys are gonna go get a wide receiver, but if you do, you go get that man right now. But let's talk really quick. As we are into hour number 2 of the Talk That Talk radio show. I'm Terrell. He's Markel. We have spent that entire first hour talking Golden Knights playoffs and the NFL draft. So shout out. We could have went another 40 minutes on this NFL draft. There's a lot more to get to, but really quick, I have to give a little bit of shine and a little bit of light to UNLV football, obviously, right? Just name after name popping up at spring practice. I seen Darren Waller earlier this week. Why am I blanking? Urban Meyer was there last week. Do you want to talk about that really quick?
Yeah, we can talk about that. Like I didn't even know this was happening.
I'm so phony. It's fine. it's fine. I'm so phony. I seen Urban Meyer on campus, right? Not face to face. I seen it online, and I was like, "Why the hell is he on campus? I don't want to see Urban." Man, I kept scrolling. About 10 seconds later, I scrolled back and was like, wait a minute, that man did with a lot of football games. Hold on, let me see.
But hey, man, like, come on, like it's that Florida connection, man. Like Dan Mullen was his offensive coordinator, man. Like they really brought the spread offense into college football. Like a lot of people want to point to Chip Kelly. Chip Kelly like revolutionized it, but like, yeah, nah. Tim Tebow, Urban Meyer, Dan Mullen, that's where it all started. So, I mean, kind of sidebar.
Talk to me.
Did you ever watch that Florida doc on Netflix?
Swamp Kings.
Yes.
You did.
Top tier.
Legendary.
Top tier.
It's better than Trojan War.
Of course. I'm sorry. You've been taking shots.
This whole show almost went left. I've never like. It's fine. I almost thought that it was a strobe light in here because like it went black for a second. That's why I was like, was that a shot at us? Anywho, speaking of, let's go ahead and give a little news really quick. I got a couple of notifications today about just UNLV basketball as well. Wait, let me see if I got the name up still. Jocelyn. Ooh, I don't want to be wrong. There it is. Jocelyn Tinkle is a new assistant coach for Lindy LaRock and her UNLV Lady Rebels. She joins the UNLV staff after formerly being a Stanford teammate of Lindy LaRock. So this is going to be interesting. I'm not going to lie. At some point this season, I want them to do a little 1-on-1 to 3. So I'm going to try to roll the ball out and see what happens. I don't want to challenge Lindy. I feel like Lindy going to be like, where? And Lindy going to start kicking off her shoes. Like, so this is what we doing? But I'm excited. I'm excited for this group. I know this group is kind of chomping at the bit to get back to work, considering it's going to be a whole new franchise or a whole new program, rather. McKenna Brackens, I seen a picture today of her in some Arizona State threads. We all know about Amarachi Kempson landing at the U. She is now a Hurricane. But Josh Pastner on the men's side went ahead and added some new pieces. Miles Shea is obviously the one that everybody is talking about right now.
Absolutely. Legends team in the NIT championship. Unfortunately, didn't get the dub, but like he was just one of those guys that just stood out the entire game. You're like, oh yeah, he's the best player. Yeah. Like he's the best player. And you know, playing against his former team as well too, like that just added more like just intrigue to the game. But like, yeah, he's definitely a baller. I feel like that was a great pickup. Just, you know, everybody was waiting to see like what was gonna be the big move that Josh made. I feel like that was the a quote unquote big move that he's made up to this point. Like, granted, it's the back half of the portal, but like I feel like for him to not even coach a game yet and to pull in a guy like that who can go score the ball and lead the team right out the gate, who's also a veteran, has experience within the college game. I think that was a good grab. But like I said before, like just Josh Pastner is going to be judged. This first season that he coaches is going to determine how his next 3 to 4 years look with this program. So
that's assuming he gets 5 years.
Yes.
This news today, the two players picked up in the portal today. Can you work on another name for me really quick while I get through this point? I'll tell you guys what happened yesterday. I'm sitting up, I'm typing, doing some research, just going through some stuff, organizing some stuff.
Kamani Hamilton.
Kamani Hamilton is the other one from High Point. Thank you again. Before these two pickups, I was sitting down doing some research yesterday. I'm on my phone. And I sit back. And realization set in. It was an unfortunate reality for me because I haven't been, and this is the part where people clip it up and be like, here's where you were wrong. I'm fine with that. I don't believe in terms of like season predictions, I'm that far off. The furthest I've been off probably recently was the Raiders, where I said they might win 8 games and they won 4. That one was pretty bad. UNLV football, I might have been off by like 3 games, maybe 2 games. But I said all that to say, I try my best not to let emotions get in the way of my analytical brain. You've asked me before, hey, who's going to win this game? You want me to tell you who I think is going to win, or like what analysis tells me should happen? Because those aren't always the same answer. I'm going through some stuff. I'm looking at the way these other teams are shaping up. I'm looking at who left UNLV and who UNLV replaced them with. And I sent the voice note. And I said, you know what realization I just came to? They said, what? And this is a gut feeling. If I'm wrong, cool. My feeling is that this team is going to stink next year. It's a gut feeling. And when I say stink, I'm talking like 2 games over 500, 3 games over 500 type. I could be wrong. Considering that this is the school that I went to, nobody wants to be wrong more than me right now. I've said this before. UNLV couldn't get into a position where they're picking at what's left in the portal. This is not a shot at Kamani. This is not a shot at Miles. However, when Josh Pastner first took over, it was maybe 12 names that was initially thrown out. How's this person look? How does this person look? How does this person look? This person is transferring from. Vegas got none of them. Not a single one. And since I've been here, I've never seen that happen. Again, based on the stories that I've been told, this feels kind of like what Marvin Menzies dealt with when he walked in. So, I say all of that to reiterate, when Kevin was fired last month, I said, if UNLV didn't have an initial plan right after, this set the program back 4 years. Now let's go back and analyze that Marvin point. He comes over, he builds that team. That's year 1. Year 2, he gets Brandon McCoy. Year 3, he starts to regress. You fire him. TJ's here for 2 seasons. He leaves. and then you fire Kruger right when it feels like he's starting to build something. I am here to double down in my belief that firing Kevin Kruger has set this program back 4 years.
Isn't TJ at Iowa State killing it right now?
Kicking ass, a lot of it.
You know, it's so crazy because like TJ got kind of meshed in there because he was here for such a short period of time that you forget that he was actually out here. And like you know, it's so crazy because I was watching the Iowa State game this past season, and I think they were playing TCU or somebody like that, or Kansas State or something. And I was just like, where was TJ at? Like I seen him before. Where? And it clicked, and I said, "Oh,
that was your coach."
Oh, he was right here in the city. Oh,
that's the way it's gonna feel like Barry. That's what it's gonna feel about Barry in about the next 2 years.
Yeah. And it, like that's the same thing when you see Chris Beard killing it every stop he's been to, and he was here for a few days, and he said, "Yeah, you know what? No, I was just playing. I was playing. Yeah, you know, Kevin. Yeah, I'm not necessarily sure where Kevin's gonna land, but it's something we constantly talk about. It's like the impatience with the program that's constantly setting the program back. I mean, like you said, the last 3 coaches that have, you know, winning seasons is Kevin, his dad, and Dave Rice. And everybody felt like UNLV hit eject on them all at the wrong time. Because, you know, in terms of record, overall record, I mean, Kevin had to win it. He had to win a record.
I believe it was plus 22, I think.
But in terms of what it looked like for the program, okay, yeah, no, we'll get rid of him. Same thing with his dad. Yeah, you know, he took us to Sweet 16 and all that, but it's not those national championship teams. I'll get rid of them.
Hey, remember that Long Live Bean? Remember that Bean and Get Help, yeah. Remember that Bean and Ye commercial where he was saying, by the way, Kobe sponsored my high school. So we had shirts that said the comments are on the Kobe system. And I like Westchester branded Kobe's, like everything, right? I still got my 6s, by the way. Remember that commercial where he was like, I need you guys to do more. And Ye was like, I'm the most successful. I'm the most talented. I'm the most, like, I'm a genius. Like, what do you, Kobe kept saying more. Until Ye was like, hey, what the fuck does that mean, Kobe Bryant? Are you the same animal? Are you a different animal, same beast? The fuck does that mean? I don't know what that means. That's the way I feel like UNLV fans are. You were just bringing up what you brought up about Dave Rice, and then you went to Lon Kruger, and now we can use Kevin as a reference point. The fuck do y'all want?
It's kind of insane at this point because it's like you like the program starts rolling in the right direction, and then you kind of chop it off, and it's like you see with the players they bring in too, like. You look at Jones, look at Patrick McCall, you look at Bryce, you look at I don't know who else.
Want to go Steven Zimmerman? Who else you want to go?
Steven Zimmerman, like Anthony Bennett, like, you know what I'm saying? Say what you want about him now.
Christian Wood.
Christian Wood, he was that guy. Like, so.
And Birch. I'm sorry, I'm done. I'm gonna stop. I'm just stopping now.
Like, even another like just regular player like Caden Reinhardt went to Marquette and killed it and had a long career overseas. So like it's just like you had pros come through the program, but you never allowed these coaches to stick around and build a program throughout the long period of time. Prime example: Mark Few has been in Gonzaga for years and years and years. For the longest, everybody's like, "Oh, Gonzaga get to the tournament, but they're not going to do anything. Oh, they'll get to the tournament, but they're not going to do anything." They finally did something, finally got all the way to the national championship, didn't finish, but you can't say Mark Few didn't do anything. They win their conference every single year. Why? Because Gonzaga is patient. UNLV is not patient. You know what Gonzaga understands? Gonzaga understands that they're a mid-major team. You know UNLV doesn't understand?
Exactly
Is
that.
that they're a major team, bro. So it's like it's frustrating to see like this constant cycle that keeps happening, and like people start to gravitate towards a certain coach, and then
Mm.
you'll start to see them like get their recruiting footprint like solidified, and then oh wait, they're on the hot seat, gone. And now it's like, okay, all right, what do we do with this? And I don't want to see Josh Pastner go through the same cycle these other coaches went through,
Mm-hmm.
because I feel like, just with the top players on the team he has, they can win enough games to, make some noise in the Mountain West. I'm not saying they're gonna win it. I'm not saying they're gonna be one of the top teams.
That's the problem, though.
Yeah.
UNLV, the fan base, the athletic department. There again, I'm gonna go back to one thing that Desiree Reed Francois said when I asked her about the decision to fire Marvin Menzies and not fire Tony Sanchez. And she said at the time, we have a rich history in basketball. Our history in football is still being written. I said, I hear you. One had more success, though, than the other. Still. What you're saying is absolutely right. And this isn't even a knock on Josh Pastner. You just said it right now. You hope that he doesn't fall into the carousel that we've been covering the past almost 10 years now at this point. When Tony got fired, and I've told this story 3 weeks in a row, Tony completed that last game. Forgot who it was. Somebody asked Tony about the next guy that's coming in. And he said, I don't know who the next guy is, but whoever the next guy is, I hope this city and the campus understands that it's going to take time. Plain and simple. I have never seen a program in more of a rush to get to their destination without having that solidified backing. I don't know that I've ever seen it. Especially not this up close. I don't think I've ever seen it. There is a state of delusion around this program. There is a lack of accountability around this program. And for a weird minute, it felt like, and it probably still feels like, this program lacks an identity. The identity is in your name.
And that's the problem right there, because we're focused on the name and not the results. We're UNLV. We're supposed to win the Mountain West. We're UNLV. We're supposed to be one of the top tier programs in the country. Nobody sees UNLV like that anymore. You're not even the first team thought of in your conference anymore.
Not the second one either.
No. People think San Diego State. People think
4 years ago, somebody asked me, we were playing Hawaii in football. I said something about playing Hawaii. Somebody looked at me and was like, y'all in the Mountain West?
Because UNLV used to be in the WAC.
Don't nobody know we in the Mountain West. This was like 4 years ago. Might have been one of Marcus's years. I'm sitting there like, people forgot what conference we're in.
Yep.
Don't let UTEP finish higher than us in anything, tennis included. And you guys want to pressure me about parking tickets? Never, dog. I graduated on UNLV parking tickets money. I told them, you're not getting that.
The fact that people think Utah State before UNLV is crazy, man. Like that's
We're successful.
That's an insane thought to have, man. Like Utah State was never looked at as they're not even a top program in their state. BYU and Utah come before them. Like that's like that's. I mean, some locals might put Southern Utah. I mean, or Utah. They're Utah Tech now. But like some locals might even put them above them. Like that's crazy to think of, bro. Like just Colorado State, seen them making noise in the tournament this year. Like it's just UNLV is not thought of anymore, and Air Force might come before us. When people think of the Mountain West, people might think Air Force before UNLV. I might sound like an asshole right now, but I'm being so serious right now. Like the fact that people didn't—that's crazy. Somebody knows UNLV is in the Mountain West. Like I just.
Oh, wait till I figure out who it was. Part of me want to say it's my brother, and it pissed me off. It better not be him. Speaking of, too, we're talking about young athletes in general, but really appreciative that I didn't have to come in here with any worse news than the news that I'm getting ready to deliver right now. But obviously, news broke this morning about a car accident that involved Elijah Arenas, the son of legendary basketball player Gilbert Arenas. Cybertruck jumped the curb, took out a fire extinguisher or a fire hydrant, slammed into a tree, caught on fire. I seen a camera phone video of like the immediate aftermath, right? And to see Good Samaritans have to pull Elijah out of that car. Congratulations, or I mean, congratulations is the word. I'm over here flustered by it, but kudos rather to the Good Samaritans that was around, that was able to tend to that situation the same way that we would trust any other first responder to do. So that's the first thing that stands out in my mind. Prayers that Elijah appears to not have suffered any major bodily injuries. One of the things that I believe was reported was that he was placed into a medically induced coma following smoke inhalation. That's obviously a very, very big deal. Not something that can't be shaken. I do hope that we are able to come in here probably by the next show, which will be Monday, and give you guys good news about Elijah. 18 years old. Literally, I know we talk a lot about people that have had like great years, right? Kendrick has had a great year, a year and a half, or calendar year, however you want to put it. If you want to talk about somebody that's been putting their foot in 2025's ass, it's Elijah Arenas.
Absolutely. I mean, he skipped up a grade and was a McDonald's All-American.
And the MVP of the Jordan Brand game.
I've never seen nothing like that. You know, yeah, like, but obviously that's a very scary situation. Like, yeah, we all woke up to that news this morning. Obviously prayers up for him, man. Like, that's just something you never want to see. But I heard he's in stable condition now. You know, so you know that's good news. But yeah, obviously, like, this is one of those situations. Like, it's bigger than basketball. Like, you know, just like, you know, first situation I thought of, like, obviously two different situations, but like, you know, the whole Bronny heart condition situation that he had. Like, at that point, like, it's
prayers to USC and their mind state too.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, most definitely. Like, but I feel like he'll definitely bounce back from this, you know. But yeah, man, something you never want to see, especially like you just said, he was having such a great year. Led his team, you know, the entire season, you know, just seeing the development, the growth, and just seeing him perform like at a high level, you know, having the pressure of his dad being Gilbert, and you know,
he might be better than him.
He might be. You know what? He got another son too. He a little one, but
I'm just saying.
Gil got a little. He got a little factory going on over there.
Fendi. Hey, because his girl can go too.
Yeah,
they can play. Gilbert looked like all his kids could play. In all honesty, man, I came in here not too long ago and was talking about Westchester's championship city title. For those of you guys who already know, or who don't know rather, Westchester played Chatsworth, and anybody who knows of me in my personal life, excited for Westchester. I'm a product of Westchester, right? Wherever I go, I make sure Westchester is mentioned. When I was at Westchester, we worried about Chatsworth in terms of football, or excuse me, in terms of baseball. Going into that city championship game, I was like, So if we hold Elijah under 35, right, we might be able to make this work. If not, I don't know. We might not have a snowball's chance in hell if he scores 35. But again, man, prayers to the young kid. I loved how basketball, all of basketball came together for that moment. And I say this all the time, because I'm somebody who walks around and I'm usually smiling and I'm usually the way that I am, to the point where when people do see me, not necessarily smiling, and see me a little riled up, it tends to draw a reaction. I tell people all the time, the people that smile the most, people that play the most, check on those people, right? And I say that to say I watch Gil's Arena. I say that, right? And sure, I don't go to Gilbert's page often, right? But from former teammates to coaches to former professors, nobody has ever said that Gilbert shuts up. He just doesn't do it. Gilbert is Gilbert. Gilbert's going to be him. Today, for me, obviously there was no Gil's Arena. Didn't see anything coming from Gil. It's in these moments that I hope, while he's seeing everybody else's light in their lives, when they may be going through stuff, I hope Gilbert had a host of people there in his corner for him, the way that he's there for other people. Same goes for Laura. Same goes for Elijah's mom. We don't see her in the public light, so I don't know exactly how she is in terms of personally. I don't know Gilbert personally, right? But the same way that Gilbert is always trying to lighten everybody's day, have some fun, bring some laughs, I hope Gilbert had all of those same people that he's always there for. There for him.
Most definitely, yeah. Cause Gil, like you said, like even if you don't know Gil, you feel like you know him personally,
Word.
just because like he's just that outgoing, like don't care, is gonna say what he's not supposed to say, do what he's not supposed to do. Like we've seen it with him ever since he was in the league. So
Word.
like this put like him being out the league now, like he's just kind of like spreading that same light, you know, through the show and through other avenues that he's involved in. And now you kind of see it like it's crazy. Like he never really talks about his kids. Like I like outside of like when you know Elijah announced he was going to USC on the show, like you never hear him talk about.
He lets them do that.
He just let them rock out. So you know,
I love seeing him at games in the front row too.
no, absolutely,
I love it because he, like you said, he doesn't try to take away from it. I'm here to cheer. I'm here to be a fan.
He be having his headphones in, just sitting there chilling, watching the game. Like, but you know what? You're gonna enjoy this. I just want to shout out
Pacers.
I want L.A. actually.
Okay.
I want to specifically the Compton Magic.
Okay.
Because it's kind of insane.
I'll give y'all one more.
Like anybody who come through the Compton
Count them off.
program.
Count them off.
Oh man, let's see. Evan Mobley. Yeah, we just got Elijah.
I just saw the B Jennings post about Elijah as well. Boy. I'm so sorry, guys. I just told you guys I saw the Brandon Jennings post.
Yeah.
My timeline just updated, and somebody said Shedeur must have been like this in pre-draft interviews, and it's a video. You ever seen that video where Bobby Shmurda was performing for the executives at Epic?
Hey yo, man! Nah,
I hate the internet.
like man, like it's really Twitter. It's really Twitter, man, or X, whatever. Like
I'm never calling it that.
His daddy named Twitter. I'm gonna call him Twitter. Yeah. So like, yeah, nah. It's just like, it's the best of us and the worst of us on Twitter. Yeah, but
I should have never seen that tweet. That's like my phone. This is why I have, and I screenshotted it. See, that's what's wrong now. Let me lock this phone and turn this around. But again, we have a little under 20 minutes left, I believe, left in the show. I got baseball news for the rest of the way. You want to go Aviators? You want to go Athletics?
We always go Aviators first. Let's go A's.
Let's go A's. How about finally winning a home series? Finally happened. I have plenty of things to talk about in terms of this athletic series. They took 2 of 3 against Texas, a first place Texas team, so that's a big deal. I want to highlight a couple of things really quick. Nick Kurtz got called up 2 days ago, I believe it was. I went ahead and mentioned it on Monday. Maybe it was 3 days ago. Mentioned it on Monday. And he made his debut. First at bat, gets a single, gets an RBI. I'm sure Wake Forest is proud. Got a bunch of Demon Deacons going crazy on the East Coast right now. Huge deal to see him to see him get to the next level. The bigger thing is, I don't know if you watched that game. I don't know if you watched highlights. I don't know if you did anything regarding that game, but he went ahead. He got that single. When you see him get to first base, and keep in mind, it was a single in an inning that I believe they scored 4. I think they scored 4 in that first inning. The excitement that he had when he got to that first base, to see his first base coach kind of pat him on the back, to see him looking in the stands for his family. I do believe at some point I'll see Nick Kurtz again at AAA this season. Can't wait to talk to him about what that experience was like, right? I don't think I've said this story publicly, but I tell my dad about it often. Every time I tweet about Nick Kurtz, his dad likes to tweet.
It's fire.
So whenever I do see Nick Kurtz, I think I got to talk to Papa Kurtz too.
Nah, most definitely. Yeah, like that's the thing, man. Like I said, like with the A's, like just organization having such a good minor league team, like you're gonna see a lot of up and down. Like I agree with you. Like I do think we're gonna see them back on the Aviators at some point during the season. I do feel like we're just gonna see a lot of up and down between like both teams, but yeah, for the A's finally winning the series, man, that's top tier right there. You know, like they definitely need that. Like
when you get a chance this weekend, go look at the splits, the home away splits for this team. Gross. This team is completely different at home.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, we ain't gonna get into that again. But yeah, like
positive thoughts.
Yeah. So just yeah, I'm kind of interested to see like how the rest of the season goes, not just for the A's, but for the Aviators as well, with the whole back and forth, like who's going to stay on a major league team and who's going to kind of fall back down to the Aviators and kind of like just ride it out for the rest of the season. Mm-hmm. But like you said, like we expect the Aviators to have most of their team for most of the season. We kind of expect the A's to kind of like stay where they're at as well too. But you're going to see like certain guys get caught up in certain scenarios, and like, you know, we already had to trade during the season that we didn't expect. So I think
that was the opening weekend too.
Yeah, crazy, right? So yeah, like it, but
and you sent him to the Dodgers. Never mind.
If the Dodgers or the Yankees call you for a minor leaguer, don't
hang up.
Don't do it. Don't do it. Leave it alone.
Just hang up.
Don't do it.
Braves too. I know nobody wants to talk about it, but if Atlanta calls me too, I'm not taking your call.
They do win World Series out of nowhere.
They do. People, like I said, we talk a lot about parity. The Braves are always around. You look up at the end of the year and be like, damn, they won 90 games?
Hang up.
Say what? They 91, 92, 93. He said hang up. Speaking of records, as of now, sidebar. Tonight's game was what actually solidified the series win for them. It was a walk-off win, and it was a walk-off by Jacob Wilson. former Las Vegas Aviator, somebody who hit his first major league home run earlier this season, coming up big in a big spot for the A's. Keep in mind, I told you guys, Nick Allen no longer with the team after being traded to Atlanta, by the way. After being traded to Atlanta, Jacob Wilson has kind of filled that spot for the almost at the Aviators, for the Athletics at the shortstop spot. I do want to look up Nick Allen and see if we got any stats on Nick for this year. He has 14 hits. He's batting .269. Obviously, somebody who I appreciate a lot just for what he was able to do here with the Aviators and my time being spent around Nick. Pretty dope to see him get a good shot at that next level. For some reason, the Athletics, it feels like the Athletics didn't trust that his bat was going to come around. So to see him batting .269 in the first month of the season is a good feeling for Nick. But obviously, it doesn't look like the Athletics are regretting their decision too much with the way that Jacob is playing. But they're 11-13 on the year. They're still last in the AL West, but they're last in a crowded AL West. The Texas Rangers that they just took 2 of 3 from are 14-10. So you're 3 games behind the team that you just beat 2 times out of 3. And then you get to see them next week. So you have a Friday series starting in Sacramento against the Chicago White Sox. Again, the 3-game series, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, will take place from Sutter Health Park in Sacramento in Northern California. As far as the Aviators, though, right? Maybe there's a reason why we saved them for last. Unfortunately, we opened this show with some losses. We're ending the show with some losses. The Aviators have lost a season high 4 straight games. So not looking good. I didn't want to hit the panic button earlier, even though we probably should have, and I probably still should hit this. But I don't feel like we have to do that right now for the Aviators, right? Gonna get 150 of these. There's even with this 4-game losing streak, it just goes to show how fast they started early on in the season. They lose these 4 straight games. Would you believe it if I told you that the Aviators are still leading the PCOS? Give it up for that start, man. The Aviators are 14-10. They're still leading the PCL West. Now, however, they are tied for second in all of the PCL. Remember how we talked about those Dodgers a second ago? Mm-hmm. That minor league team is still minor leaguing. They're 17-7. So they're 10 games over 500. The Comets look damn good this year. And now the same Round Rock team that the Aviators are in Texas playing right now, they are now 14-10. So now you have, on top of the PCL East, you have Oklahoma City at 17-7, and then you have Round Rock sitting at 14-10, and then you have the Aviators right behind them at 14-10. Obviously, they've played the Express 3 different times this year, 3 straight losses. But a loss tonight, or tomorrow, I guess it's almost tonight now, it's almost midnight. A loss on Friday, a loss on Saturday, or a loss on Sunday would be the first series loss for this year's Aviators. They've started the year with 4 straight series wins. We'll see if they can keep it going. They can get nothing better than a split in this one. You got 3 more games scheduled against Round Rock this weekend.
Yeah, I wouldn't necessarily hit the panic button just yet. Honestly, if this was happening and it was, say, I don't know, July, August, then I feel like we'd have a reason to be concerned. But right now, it's May, still too early. Like, there's something to be concerned about. Yeah, you don't want to just drop four games in a row like that. But I feel like this team is still kind of like getting their feel. Like we just said, one of the best players just got called up. So
I'm glad you said it, because if I'm Fran Riordan and the major league team calls me, hey, what's going on? 4 straight loss. You took my best guy. I have nothing else to say. We'll figure it out. We'll figure it out. It's only 4 losses, man. Like I said, what did I say? They're 14-10. That's 24. I'm not very good with math. What is that? 126 games left? Yeah. Come on, fam. I think we'll figure it out. We didn't get to basketball today. If you want to talk basketball, you can real quick.
Not really too much to talk about.
Pacers are up. I'll do it if you don't want to. Pacers are up 2-0.
Man, just that Clippers Nuggets series, great series. Clippers got another win tonight. Kawhi, he brought the Spurs a ring. I can never be truly. I know a lot of Spurs fans actually hate him, but I'm not that guy. I'm not that guy.
Y'all know how much I love Pop, but if Kawhi get to talking, San Antonio, you may be more mad at Pop than you are Kawhi.
For sure. Like that whole situation was crazy to me. Like honestly, we might not know until like 20 years from now, like what actually went down with that whole situation. But yeah, like Kawhi, he didn't even have his best game tonight, but they finally got a game out of James Harden where he put up 20 points and you're like, that's what they need right there. But yeah, just to see the Nuggets lay an egg like that, it's kind of crazy, but at the same time, it's not because they rely on Jokic way too much. And when the rest of the team don't show up and it's just Jokic out there, 23 seconds have gone by on the shot clock, I'll put it up, hit it. But that's not gonna cut it in the playoffs. Like I said earlier in the show, I really think like the Clippers should be a 3-0 right now. Like I feel like they blew that second game. But yeah, man. I feel like that's the best series going right now.
That Detroit and New York one is
That's right behind. That's number 2.
fire.
That's number 2. Knicks got it tonight by 2 points, but it's oh yeah, Memphis blew game 3 tonight. So, but Ja got hurt. They blew a 29-point lead.
That's the backbreaker.
That was wicked. Yeah, it's over. So, oh yeah, I said the Lakers could win the championship. I don't know what I was on that night, but no, I will never pick the Lakers.
You was on Luka.
Yeah, I was. Yeah, I was thinking Luka, but no. Should they be able to win? Yes, because you got Luka and LeBron. But seeing them playing this series against the younger dude, like,
makes you feel like they're a year away.
Yeah,
I watched game 1 and was like, oh, Western Conference Finals. I was like, Western Conference Finals, maybe the finals, but I don't see you guys winning it.
Just because, like you would think, like you just like for Ant to fry you like that with no team for real, like, cause come on, like who's his second best player? Rudy? Like no offense, Rudy.
Probably Naz Reid.
Like okay, Naz, but 6th man of the year, cool, but that's it. Y'all got Luka and LeBron. Y'all got Rui. Y'all got Austin Reeves. Like, come on, man. Y'all not supposed to be. Y'all not supposed to be struggling with the Timberwolves, man. Like, but and a killer. He on that. So I mean,
that's why I think they were gonna lose 2 games regardless going in. Because I do think Ant was one of those players that he'll go get them one that they probably shouldn't get. I also think the Lakers lose one in Minnesota. So that's the second one right there.
If this series goes 6-7 games, it's gonna get spooky for the Lakers.
I feel that way about the Knicks series. I already felt like it was gonna go 6, but I'm just like, the more that y'all keep giving these young Bulls energy, I don't know, man. I don't know that I want to keep giving Detroit confidence. We talked about a lot of things today. We talked about transfer portal. We talked about the NFL draft. We've talked about the WNBA draft within the last week. We talked about moving up and down in terms of minor league system. I think for the first time in probably a long time, I'm going to read my mom's tip in last because I feel like it's a perfect way to end the show. This one is simple. One day, I'll have it all together. Until then, I'm thankful for where I am. Until next time, gang. Keep on talking.
It is be crazy.